Hello and welcome to Capital Power Podcast. Today we'll be discussing a very important topic that concerns us as Nigerians. I am Edgy Mercy and with me in the studio is
Quadrilla today.
So Quadri, I'm sure you agree with me that since the removal of subsidy, there's been hike in prices of goods, transportation. In fact, these prices have tripled. But the good thing here is there is an alternative which is affordable and environmental friendly, and this alternative is CNG. But for some persons, they might be hearing of it for the first time. Others who have heard of it might not really know the details about CNG. So can you tell us what CNG is all about?
Thank you very much for the question. Compressed natural gas, popularly known as CNG, is a fuel gas that is compressed into methane. Unlike LPG that we know, which is what we use for cooking, CNG is quite different. CNG is used to power the engine for vehicles and something like keke and the likes. So that is the order of the day now in Nigeria as a result of the removal of subsidy. The government, as we all know, the new government, when it came in, on its inauguration, he declared that the government cannot, afford to continue to subsidize fuel. So we are now, sourcing alternative to petrol. And the only alternative that is cost-friendly, if I can put it like that, is CNG. And Nigerians now are being enlightened about CNG. And CNG is just like the LPG, but it's quite different. It's not, the usage is different. Unlike LPG that is used for cooking, as I said earlier, CNG is used for powering vehicles and the likes. Like, for example, now, a formerly powered petrol vehicle can be converted into CNG powered vehicle. And there are some cars, even in Nigeria now, there are cars being manufactured to run solely on CNG, and there are other cars that you can convert, modify to, if it's formerly of petrol powered before, you can modify it to, have both working together simultaneously. So is the new order of the day, and I hope Nigeria can adopt it.
Wow, that is very interesting. It is really interesting to know that engine of cars can be converted to work with both CNG and then the normal petrol. But then there are many Nigerians out there that don't know how, they don't even know about CNG, especially the masses, the taxi drivers and the cabmen. And I think they are the ones that this will help benefit them more, because if they get this CNG at cheaper rates, it will reduce the cost of transportation, and then it will be beneficiary to all Nigerians, working class and civil servants. So how do you think governments can help create awareness to make people want to use this CNG? And how can they even access it? Some persons might have heard of it somewhere or the other, but they don't even know how to go about it. So what can the government do to make it accessible?
Yeah, you are right. The level of awareness of CNG in Nigeria is still very low. A lot of people, most especially in the rural areas, are not aware of this new development. But it is onus of government to create the awareness, and I think they've started something towards creating awareness. As you are aware, there is a presidential initiative, a committee set up to oversee the adoption of CNG in Nigeria, and they are working towards creating the awareness. For me, I think the approach should be multi-dimensional, in the sense that we have different demographic in Nigeria. We have the youth demographic who are mostly, social media inclined. So I will just advise the government to create content, hire people that can, create awareness that will, catch and, get the attention of the youth demographic. At the same time, as I said earlier, the people in the rural area, they are totally, cut off of the reality of CNG. And you agree with me that the most, the media they are mostly exposed to is radio. So government can create jingle that will run for several months, telling them in their local languages about the, the CNG and how it is beneficial to them. I think if government can do this, Nigeria will become aware of it, and we can also up on the, the importance and how it can affect our economy. And as for the question of the availability of the product, well, government, that same committee I mentioned earlier, the presidential CNG initiative, they are working towards creating a workshop across Nigeria where the conversion of, let's say, traditionally powered, petrol-powered vehicle, where you can convert it into CNG, and you can use both at the same time. They've inaugurated some of them during the first the celebration of the first year of the current president. But in terms of accessibility, is still the workshop, the number of workshops we have is still mostly in the cities. So the government needs to plan on how the workshop can be established in the hinterlands where people, average Nigerians there who are, mostly, experiencing the economic hardship we are currently facing as sort of the, the policy of the government. I believe if government can, do all this, all things be equal, and Nigeria will become aware. And the price is another thing, because the conversion price, government has started the planning on how to reduce the price. But the last I checked, the conversion of petrol-powered vehicle to CNG powered is currently 600,000, and you agree with me that average Nigerians can't afford that. So government should work towards maybe subsidize it, at least so that average Nigerians who are feeling the economic hardship can be able to convert either their generator or their vehicle. And one thing is Nigeria economy is energy driven. Anything that happens to our energy sector affect the other sector. If Nigerian government can reduce, at least make Nigeria adopt CNG as alternative to petrol, which obviously Nigerian government can continue to subsidize. If we can adopt that, and the prices of goods will naturally come down, because what affects the prices of goods mostly is, okay, we talk about how the transportation of the goods from the market, from the farm to the market, and the to and fro of Nigerian citizens. If Nigerian government can make this accessible to average Nigeria and look at the price of conversion of the engine to CNG, I think we'll be home and dry, and everybody, at least the succor will come, and the economic hardship we are currently experiencing will at least ease down a little bit. Wow,
that's good to know. I think, like you mentioned, converting engines that's the normal engine that runs with petrol, converting it to CNG is really on the high side. So if government can actually slash the price or subsidize it, I think it would be better, because common Nigerians, the cab drivers, taxi drivers, I'm sure they will not want to even think of using 600,000 to convert their engine. That's Nigerians for you. But then there's like great opportunity. There's better opportunity if your car can actually run with CNG. But let's bring it down to students. Recently, the prices of school fee for most federal universities in Nigeria was increased. Some was not only doubled, it was tripled. And then students had to start thinking of how to pay those high fees. and then things, prices of goods were also increased, and then bring it to transportation. I know some students who pay 500 naira every day to go to school. That's those who are not really close to the school, who are living off campus, or maybe their lecture hall is not close to the hostel. So they pay this amount, and they still have to pay a very high amount of school fee, and they still have to feed. So can you tell us how this CNG can help students to live a more comfortable life or more affordable life in school?
No doubt the multiplication effect of Nigerian adopting the CNG the effect will really affect the students in the sense that positively, actually, in the sense that, as I said, Nigeria economy is energy driven. Anything that happens to the energy price, affects the other areas of economy. And you agree with me, the public schools are not, the schools generally, they are not isolated from the economy. They are part of the economy. So anything that affects the economy affects them. And it was a sort of the removal of the subsidy that led to the increment and the other things the school management thought of, because the subvention is not really coming from the government to really cater for everything they need. So for students, mostly students take car from their, let's say for the people living off campus, to go to school, they use the public transport. And that's now, the price has tripled, if not even more than that. So if the government can push for the adoption of CNG by the cab drivers, without any doubt, the student too can also feel the positive impact of CNG, in the sense that the price of transport fare will come down. And you are talking about the school management too. Even some of them are still contemplating on increasing the school fees, because the increment they did recently, according to them, is not even sufficient enough. So to avoid another increment, the government should accelerate the CNG program. Even for me, the government can go to the extent of buying buses for different public universities and private universities, CNG power bus. If they, just like the scheme they used to do with Petroleum Development Fund and the likes, where they give public university, donate bus and what have you to them. They can also do that to ease in the current economic hardship being experienced by the students. For me, at the end of the day, if you can get the adoption right, it will also affect the student positively.
All right, Quadri, as we wrap up now, can you tell us how CNG will be impactful, what impact it will have in our environment as a whole?
Thank you very much for that question. Another advantage of CNG is the energy friendliness. Unlike petrol-powered engines that emit smoke and deplete the ozone layer, the CNG does not emit any smoke. So the tendency to deplete the ozone layer is totally out of it. So that's why you see that world organization like United Nations, every year they are doing summits and hosting a seminar on how African country and other continent can adopt, can migrate from the use of petrol that is not energy friendly to CNG that is energy friendly. And if that's why Nigeria too, you can agree with me that we are experiencing climate change. You agree with me, just recently we had flood all over the country, and apart from flood, the smoke is also hazardous to the health of average Nigerians. So I think if we can adopt this CNG, it will be in the long run benefit Nigerian economy and also Nigeria earthwise.
Thank you very much, Quadri. I'm sure we are more enlightened about CNG And this is where we draw the curtain for today's program. We know that CNG is affordable and environment friendly. Join us same time next week for another interesting and educative episode of On Capital Power Podcast. See you and bye.